Hey there, Internet Keith here, and welcome to the Cars and Keith YouTube channel. And version 2.0 of my wash setup is done. Now, why did I need a version 2.0? Well, I'm never satisfied. There will always be a fix or a change down the road. But the biggest thing is I found out in this garage here that pressure washing everything is a bit too much. Too much mist, too much overspray. So I've added the water hose inside for most of the rinsing. This is also a redesign of the piping system to be much more efficient, much more user-friendly. The other one was just all glued together, PVC. This one has all of these union joints. So the first thing you notice, it's really tall. So it's taking up a lot of the frame, and the camera has to be really far away to fit all in frame. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just keep talking, and then we'll just go in here and show you clips of everything really up close, because you don't want to just sit here and look at me talking all the time. So before we get any further video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out the links below. Everything here will be linked. So let's start at the bottom. We have the CR Spotless DIW 20. Now we have multiple unions, elbows, and everything going on here, but we've switched from the $2 Home Depot PVC valves and we've moved on to union joints. And the reason we do this is because they can be screwed on and off to give us the ability to take this apart in sections. Before, it was completely glued together, giving us no ability to make any changes. Coming out the right-hand side of the DI system, we come up to a union joint. And the reason this is here is between the one there and the valve going into the DI system. I can take it right off the wall because to me, it's easier to change the filters and the resin. After that, it flows through a DigiFlow meter. This allows me to measure my gallons per minute and how many gallons I've used. It really helps me find out how effective the resin is. We leave the DigiFlow back through another union joint. This allows us to turn the DI on and off or just run straight tap water up the side. Now after that, we run through a T-joint, which has a garden hose splitter. That allows us to angle off and is sending a hose towards the microfiber washing machine. And then the top one goes to the hose reel. This hose reel I got on Amazon. You can see that padding on there. This one right here is kind of a free spool. It has no drag. So whenever it's full of water and you have a heavy trigger hose on it, it wants to just unspool. And then when you pull the spool out, it wants to unravel really quickly. That padding causes friction against the supports and gives me that drag that I need. On the hose reel itself is a Flexzilla 50-foot hose, 5/8 inch. There's no need for 3/4 really. I think it's just overkill. 5/8 is good. This has a swiveling end, so that way when you have your spray gun attached to it, it's on a swivel. You're not gonna have any problems keeping. This hose is really good. I was kind of skeptical on it, and I'm really not a big fan of the neon green, but man, it lays really nice and it doesn't kink. So as we move our way up from the two-way splitter, going up to another union into the DigiFlow. This DigiFlow is going to give us our total volume going to the pressure washer. Now the main line, we only care about the amount of water going through the pressure washers. To kind of get an idea of the longevity of the Active 2.0, the Greenworks is only there for video reviews, for foam cannons using that 1.1 orifice, because a lot of people are using those. So I figured it's a nice addition for the tests. From the DigiFlow, we work our way up to a T-joint that branches off to the right through a union valve. And that goes through that hose. That's just a cold and hot water hose kit that I got from Home Depot. These work great. They push way more than the gallons per minute that I need to run the machine. The hose feeds into an angle that comes right into the 2.0. Now the M22 coming off the unit has a 3/8 MPT thread. That elbow has a male on one end that you can screw into that, and then on the other side it's a female, and then you screw a 3/8 male plug into that, and that gives you your connection to the pressure washer. It's just way less stress on the jumper hoses for me to do it this way. The Active is running a 3-foot jumper hose that's running down to a really nice valve, and this valve is always open, but as you turn it in one direction, it allows one flow to come in, and the other one is the other flow. As you can see from the Greenworks, the longer hose had to come down around up to the bottom. That middle part goes out to our hose reel. It's a 50-foot 3/8 hose reel. This thing is awesome. The cheapest basically one on Amazon, has nice drag, has a lock. That is a 50-foot gray non-marking hose. I like the Cobra Jet, but way cheaper. So that's connected to our SGS 28 gun, which is almost 3 years going strong. It was leaking the other night. I took it apart, took the ball valve out, cleaned it out, put it back in. Worked perfect, just had a little bit of dirt in there. We have our electricity meter there. We can look at wattage, amps. Really helps with the tests. We have our wires that we shortened from the pressure washers, cut them and then redid the GFCI. It just looks cleaner that way rather than having 20 foot of cord off of each one hanging off the side. Last but not least, you have the union that goes up to the Greenworks, and it's the same scenario as Active 2.0. We just don't have a valve at where the hose hooks in. And the reason I have the hoses now hooked up to the side rather than running a PVC pipe all the way to the back like I did before is it just causes too much stress on the PVC of that pressure washer getting moved around when I want to adjust or do something. The hose is more pliable. It allows me to obviously disconnect it at the side now, and that way the water doesn't drip down all over my electrical outlet. It as well has our elbow with the M22 fittings and the jumper hose going down into that valve. And that valve is 7,250 PSI. It is pretty stout. It's meant for hydraulics, but it's water, so water's hydro, right? Well, we'll see how it works. The shelving is unchanged. All we did was take a shelf out in order to be able to put the hose reel. We added those two boards there to give us the support we need for the reel. I will be painting them at some point, but I just want to make sure this thing works really well before I go taking it completely apart and painting it and getting it to look nice again and then putting it all back up on the wall. Let me know in the comments, do you even care that that's not painted? I know my OCD kind of does, and obviously it's not pressure treated wood, so I need to get a coating of Flex Seal on there. She works good though. Whenever I have that running, and I can instantly just go to my rinse and I don't have to do anything. Before, I had to unhook this jumper cable if I wanted to use this pressure washer, if I wanted to move from this one to use this one. Now all I do is valve back and forth. It's a pretty stout valve, so I had to really secure it to make sure I was able, if I put any leverage on it, that I wasn't going to bend anything. These union joints, they turn on and off with ease. They're more conforming, those blue cheap PVC ones. They hurt your fingers. We've definitely added some overall cost to this budget, but I still think this is a budget build. And somebody brought up in the comments before, because I think a lot of people's idea of what budget is different. I'll let you know that my idea of budget is best value for your money without spending the most. As you see, I got a little bit of resin spilled underneath my switch tracks and it's just clicking and clacking. Sorry about that. But in the grand schemes of things, if you were thinking about something from Assess Garage, if you were to run a DIW 20 and their package, you're at the budget for this entire system. And remember, I'm adding the cost of a $100 pressure washer up here at the top. I'm adding a lot up here that most people wouldn't use. You would have an extra empty shelf to put stuff on, but you wouldn't have that added cost. So now that you've seen how it looks, here are the numbers. You're going from a $2 valve at Home Depot to a $12 valve. Each of those union valves are $12. The small union that has no valve, they're like 12 bucks for a 2-pack, so they're about $6 a piece. Your DigiFlows are about 30 bucks. Your electricity meter is about $15. The garden hose reel was 80 bucks. It was the cheapest on Amazon. Flexzilla garden hose was about $50. The Gilmour spray nozzle there, which is awesome. It's just clickable. It was 17 bucks at Walmart. Could find it nowhere online. They have different versions of it online, but none of them have the clicking trigger. That two-way was $13. It was pretty good value. The reason it looks kind of cheapy is because it kind of is. It's not like a full stainless steel one, but it does the job. And I kind of wanted a bulkier size to kind of fill the area a little bit. Now, all of these angles are from Home Depot. I didn't buy them on Amazon, but you can get something similar. But the build on these, the brass, really nice, but they're like $13 a piece. I also have multiple brass adapters because those hoses are female to female. So I had to convert one into male in order to be able to plug into the pressure washer. Those are about 8 bucks for full brass. The PVC stuff, really, it's cheap. It's only a couple bucks for like, you can buy a 3-foot section of that 1/2-inch piping. The couplers, the elbows, I mean, they're all like less than $1. I was going to buy a big bin of them because I'd changed so many times. It'd probably be, better to buy it in bulk. That valve there was about $30. Now, it wasn't the cheapest, but had the best reviews and the specs were really nice on it. Now, you could go all out. Obsess Garage has one that's like $200 something. See, that's where we save the money. The jumper hoses coming out of the pressure washer to the valve and to the reel were all between $20 and $24, depending if you got the 2-foot was $20, the 4-foot was like $24, 25 bucks, and the 3-foot was like $22, $23. The 50-foot hose reel, 80 bucks. Really great deal. It's general pump. Like I said, it has drag, has a lockout. It spins really nicely. The other one on my cart's been on the cart for 3 years. That's a 100-footer. It's a nice space saver. You're never going to need more than that inside. That non-marking hose is between 50 and 60 bucks depending on what kind of sale it is on Amazon. It does really well. The SGS-28 with all of the fittings installed, it's about $80-ish. The M22's brass on one side, stainless steel on the other. Those are about $12 a piece. You could probably save a little money getting full brass or zinc coated. But for longevity, I always do stainless steel in most of my fittings or full brass. I don't like that zinc coated stuff. The elbows came in a 2-pack at about $23. The stainless steel 3/8 metal plug that comes off the end was $12 for 2. So I would say overall, if you're buying packs of 2 and you need 2, each elbow is going to cost you about $36. Now, if you were only need 1 and you had to buy them separate one at a time, which some things you can't buy in ones, you have to buy in 2s, you're probably spending $40-ish. When it comes to fittings, I always buy the 2-pack because I always have an extra one when I need it. Active 2.0 was $350. The Greenworks, they're about $100. I actually bought it on a pallet auction with 2 other Greenworks products for about 25 bucks a piece total. So I don't have much invested in that. The stainless steel supply hoses to the pressure washers, about 25 bucks for a 2-pack at Home Depot. All it is a hot water and cold water connectors for a washing machine. Our microfiber washing machine, there's about $270 on Amazon. It does really well. The spin cycle just gets them really dry, and then I just hang them. The very flexible stainless steel hose that supplies water to the washing machine is actually the inlet hose that came with the garden hose reel. So that was free. The custom nozzles over there, they usually cost between 20 and 30 bucks depending on how many you're going to build. That's mainly stuff that I bought from MTM and Amazon and put together myself, but you can't purchase those. I'll leave a link below to the video to show you how to make them. The CR Spotless DIW20 is about $420-ish. I paid $390, but the price has gone up. Now, I did do the RV Mods hack on the CR Spotless. I think the hack cost about 60 bucks. The resin cost me about $240, $250, but it's enough for 2 full fillings because you need extra because you're actually taking the filters out and filling it up with just resin and using their adapters. Really good value though. I'll leave a link below to the video for it. So the shelving, I went to Home Depot because I kind of wanted to figure out in my head. I wanted to be able to touch and see what I'm getting. Amazon really didn't have that good of selection for this kind of stuff. So the 2 runners up there were about $12 a piece. The brackets were about $10 a piece. And the shelf was about 15 bucks. But the shelf is a 4-footer cut in half. So that's 2 shelves. Wow, that was a lot to go over. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What would you have done differently? Now, obviously, we're kind of constrained here because of the size of this area. And the reason I picked this area is because it's the most convenient in here to be able to wash a car because it's closer to the outside, so I can wash outside, I can wash inside. So don't forget to check the links below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. So for electricity, it's a 20, oh my gosh. So for electricity, it's a 20, oh my gosh. So for the